Mbote Kembo Kemo na Tata Nzambi ya Mazulu, Kimfumo Kya Kuhisa, Zami Mawesha, Zami Okobenesha, Zami Monene, Zambiam Zola, Zambiam Kembo, Zambiam Kulu Kulu, Modimo Sonene ni Samala, Yenge Izola Ibiluka. Ukwisi Mbote, welcome. Give all praises to Tata Nzambi and Pungu Father, the most powerful God for what he continues to do. I hope everybody's doing well. For all the Banabetu scattered across the earth, and the non-Banabetu, I also greet you as well. Going to give a very serious warning today. This is going to be one of these videos that I don't know if I'm going to lose subscribers or not. At this point, it doesn't really matter because what I'm going to explain to you, people are going to say it's science fiction, it's going to be this. There's a reason why conspiracy theorists, whatever you want to call it, there's a reason why you're saying that. And everything goes back to some events that have been altered and changed for the purpose of those who know that something had already happened. I'm going to discuss the real reason why they shot Dr. King in 1968, which happens to be about the movie that came out right before that, and the fear of Simone Kimbamba's prophecy, which was something, I'm going to tell you the truth about Simone Toko and Simone Kimbanga. They were already here many times, okay, one of which was in the 1700s. When Kempavita told them to put it back, okay? You got to remember the Banabete Visolele, who the Most High's chosen people, the people from the book, from the time of beginning of time, we never die, okay? We can manifest in the flesh many times if needed, because it's one spirit, it's one kingdom versus another. He recycles his just like the Most High recycles him. I'm gonna tell you the reason why they made reincarnation demonic again, and has to do with what happened in the 1800s, okay? And also what took place over the last 800 years and why everybody keeps talking about Nostradamus and Baba Vanga and all this other stuff. We're going to get into all that as well. The prophecy of even the man who's fell off his horse, like I said, that guy's name was Brant. Um, he saw some future things in 1937, okay, and why they had to shut him up. It all has to do with something that has already happened. And we're going to get into that. Because the one thing about Kaina, he will never admit defeat. And he will do whatever it takes to beat the Most High. And the last 200 years or more are all fiction. But they're going to tell you it's facts. And there's a reason why this program is running, because of something that already happened. Okay? All praises to Nzambi. We're going to get the music started. Again, once again, this is going to be one of those videos you can choose to say Tremaine is completely crazy. He's off his rocker. I'm unsubscribing, whatever you want to call it. But I can vouch for some facts. You go talk to anybody on the continent that knows what I'm about to say, that have revelations of this stuff. They're going to tell you I'm not lying to you. There are probably Native Americans, if you can find the original ones, not the ones that they made, the original ones, that will say we have an idea what he's talking about because this is something we know from our ancestors. Okay? You're going to talk, you got to find if they're still around, some old people. Or you got to find some documents. Okay, they buried these documents. They're all hidden in the Vatican and the Templars and everybody else. All this stuff has been destroyed. Okay, do not believe the Moorish Temple. Do not believe the Knights Templars. Do not believe any of these people. They're going to keep telling you there's a reason why fraternities and sororities were created in the 1900s. Okay, the lady, I gave her props. She made the Matrix stories and that, but she did something that cost her her ability to actually connect with those who are part of this. And I'm explaining to you what really happened what the purpose of Hollywood was, what the purpose of radio is, the purpose of sports, the purpose of everything, even the fact that why people think countries are real when they're not. There were kingdoms, there were 72 kingdoms. What happened to them? And why don't people remember anything about the true past? Why do you got people watching everywhere? There's a witch that finally came clean and said they come into your houses and they do people standing there over your beds and they come into the walls and everything. This is why you got to bless your house the right way. You cannot bless your house worshiping Cain. They will always be able to walk through the walls. You got to know how to do this truth. They have been doing this for I don't know how long. Okay, they're very old people. Yes, the people who are talking about vampires now, you think they're crazy. Eddie Murphy gave you the secret. If you want to think that man was crazy for making the movie, he gave it to you and the Vampire in Brooklyn. I know what he was talking about now because that is Clarence. That is actually even connected to Tammuz. This is how he knows this is my boss, but he couldn't. He had to do it in code. Evil is good. Okay. You ever seen the Vampire in Brooklyn? I'm about to tell you what happened because the Vampire in Brooklyn is connected to the Planet of the Apes. If you still think that movie was about evolved apes that took over after a nuclear holocaust, then you're still in the Matrix. Okay. You're still in the Matrix because that is a straight lie. Because evolution was invented in the 1800s on purpose because of what already happened. Okay? The whole school system, they studied it. The Polish people, they knew what Prussia did. They knew now how to control people's minds about events that they did not want you to remember. They have mind wiped the entire planet, people. That is what the scripture really means. The whore have made drunk with the wine of the harlot. So why do you think nobody remembers that Wonder Woman is the harlot? When she was always out there in the open in the past, but now she done disappeared and she's like, no, he lying. Okay, Wonder Woman is the whore of Babylon. And I'm gonna explain what she tried to do to undo what already happened. For those of you who have ever seen any of the Transformer movies, there's this thing called a space bridge. They're gonna tell you that's fiction. They talked about the flux capacitor in the movie time in the movie Back to the Future. The flux capacitor is what makes time travel possible. That is the space bridge. That's supposedly what Sentinel Prime, and I'm gonna tell you who he is. People don't want to believe me. It's right there on the symbol of every secret society everywhere. That is Tubal Cain. And the ability to transcend time. Now, of course, that's why when the Tower of Babel was destroyed, the Most High said this is just the beginning of what they will do. Because what the Canaanites did is they opened the Stargate to Cybertron when they got cursed. Yeah, you think they don't know what about in Amun-Ra and all this stuff? You don't understand. People open portals when you don't know what you're talking about. So the space bridge are the portals that bring the prisons to you from those who we put these people in their prisons. And these knuckleheads brought them back out. Because like I said, the scripture literally means what it says, what you lease on the earth, you lease on the heavens, what you bind on earth, and you bind in the heavens. This is why people who followed the real Messiah were so dangerous, because they could bind what was on the earth and bind it in the heavens. This is why they did not want that's why they wanted everybody to believe he was blasphemy. Because the King Herod was an Edomite. The Caiaphas and all these other Sanhedrin people, they were not bloodline. They were converts through Antiochus. That's why you don't know the history, because they did this. Okay? Now they're putting out a new story because of what the Most High already did. He beat them down. And it goes back to what Yaya and Kempavita said. You attack Congo, he's going to attack you. Yeah, he did. he beat the off of them for some stuff that they was doing in the future because they broke the contract. So we're going to get into it because they want you to forget. That's why some people should know things that don't exist. This is a line from Samuel Jackson when he fought against King Kong in the movie that they made. There's a reason why they use his actor as Samael. He's not removed the obstacle, he's Samuele. He is Lucifer Samael. Okay. Now it might, I know people say there's two of them. Okay, Semyaza is a trickster. Okay, there could be. I'm not saying there's not, but the one that they got is the one that was stupid, the idiot. Okay, the one that thinks that he outthought the Most High when it came to what he let him do. The Most High let them do this. I'm gonna let you know that right now because he wants to embarrass them because they really thought he did the same thing. If you've ever read the Book of Jasher, people say it's garbage. I'm gonna tell you why. He opened up the firmament, let these idiots shoot into it, thought that, oh, the angels are dead, yeah, and then threw them back. That's the whole reason why he got the name Nimrod, because that wasn't his original name. If you go look at the first king of Babylon, which is still Nimrod, that was his original name. Okay. I showed it to you in some videos before. I can probably pull it up again. And the image they have of him is completely false. He was a melanated black dude. The face of the Statue of Liberty is his face after he turned. It's the Colossus of Greece and Rome. They know what he looks like after he got turned into a leprous person. And there are many people who have resembled his face. That's why they know they're related to him. And they have offshoots and offsprings. And then you got it. And that's why people say you have 7 clones in this world. I'm going to tell you why that is. Because they're not off. And I'm going to explain it what happened. Let me get the music going. Luvuvamu! Yala! Tata Zombie! Ngeta! Hallelujah. Now, I'm going to tell you something about, and I saw the video about whatever happened with that guy. And okay, he's a part of this whole thing too, about what they lied about, because Toko already told me, never trust that guy because of what was supposed to happen in 2000. But again, somebody didn't want to do their job because they always think they know everything. And because that's not why he was called. He don't know the whole story about what happened to him in 1984 and all that. Because it's something that had to be done that happened in 1974, 10 years earlier. And I'm going to get to that too, because a lot of people want to say there's no way. I said, oh, there's a way. Because they've already shown it to you. You just don't want to believe it because they turn it into science fiction. That's why they got on the case of William Shatner when he said fiction and science fiction. When he said science and science fiction, they're about the same. That's part of the reason why the Illuminati made him get on that thing when he was proving that the whole thing about space travel and what NASA was doing. And again, this is for education purposes only. This is why they're going to tell you that you call a bomb. Okay, because the original name of Nimrod, Sumu Abum, is connected to him. Okay, and he was a melanated dude. He was not, because this is why we want to keep calling about Hammurabi and all that. That is Nimrod. Okay, they keep got so many different names and they keep telling you, you don't even know. He came in the form of Nebuchadnezzar, Cyrus, all these different Babylonian kings, and his spirit was always around the nations, even in the different forms of every single king. They were always a form of Nimrod incarnate because it all goes back to Kusi. And this is why you're going to get this whole Africa, America lie, one continent, they're going to keep hiding it because this is, I encourage you, and I knew there was a referendum. I'm glad they brought it up, referendum 46. And I want you to understand what happened in 1945 is connected to what happened in the 1800s and before. Okay. So we're going to get into it. Again, I don't own the rights to the music. The music is for edification only. It's for the glorification of the Father. I'm going to show you why he keeps telling me I already did it. And that's why he said you got to be careful of a lot of Judas goats out here because they don't know The fallen angels already gave you the hint. They got their butts kicked. And then they try to win. They try to win, and he's still going to beat them down after what they try to do because they felt that, hey, they like to win the bet. We're going to destroy your church. We're going to destroy your church. He's like, no, you're not. We're going to destroy your church because the church is really the 12 tribes who are the actual bloodline. It's not the Gentiles. They wrote themselves in after the 1400s and what they did after the 1700s and what took place after what took place with Congo and Totala. That's why this name is, nobody knows about it, but now you got some imposters out here and they gonna keep lying to you. Because the Most High is like, no. This is why he had to send Kimbangu and Toko in the first place because of what happened in the 1800s. And we're going to get into that because they were already here. Many of these people were already here. They've been here several times. Okay. This is why now you got people convinced the Bible stopped at the book of Revelation. The Bible never stops. And it was never called the Bible. That's the word that came from the Phoenicians have messed your head up. The Canaanites. And we're going to show you exactly what they did because the Most High beat the bricks off of them. He beat the bricks off. He beat the brakes off for the Knights Templars. Now they want to redo. And it's like, okay, I'll get you to redo. And they're going to lose again. So I'm going to explain 9/11, all of this stuff. Everybody's being fooled about the last 200 years. Skull and Bones is dangerous. He beat Skull and Bones down. That's why they want payback. And I'm going to tell you what happened to him. Okay? So again, I'm going to share my screen. People don't know who Skull and Bones is. That's a secret society that they claim nobody can know anything about. And there's a reason for that. And they're going to tell you why here in a minute. And what they're really up to. And why the world is in the state that it's in. And where we are right now. Because like I said, they think that what they did, they think now they won. She's like, yeah, they didn't win anything. Okay, Mbote. Now, what I'm going to tell you today is in scriptures that have been taken away. This is why they did it. Okay. The Most High already knows. Hold on, let me do something here. I gotta change something. The Most High already knows that they altered the scriptures. There's even now people who have been coming out in the pulpits. I'll tell you why it's called a pulpit. That have said that the scriptures have been altered, tampered with, and so has time has been tampered with. Okay. Now, there's a brother to this week. We had a talk with his sister. Even if she want to watch this video, I'm gonna tell people why many people, and it's funny because I went through all the demons of Solomon, and many people don't even know that on a regular basis you say these demons' names out loud. Okay, there's a reason for that. That has to do with what's going on with Esau's lie. Okay, now the one thing that happened that Saman Toko, the Tyler Revelator, said that he undid the curse of Esau. Now, let me tell you something that was going to happen that nobody knows the true story about, the real story about what happened from 1100 till now. Okay. The plan of the Luciferian elites, what they want to call the solidarity against those they call themselves, or these group of people that have a sinister objective, was that they are trying to erase and fulfill the prophecy or fulfill the work that the lineage of Nsetu must end so that everybody, and that was the whole point, is that no one can be in that seat that they were trying to stop, which is the prophecy of the Messiah that was given the 55 days after Adama messed up. Okay. Now I'm going to share something with you. And I had an argument with somebody about this, and I'm gonna explain what I was talking about because some people don't always hear you. Because the Most High has a wife. You think the wife is equal to the Most High, you fool yourself. The mirror that was supposed to happen on the earth between Adama and his wife was to mimic the kingdom. And the Messiah was born spiritually first. All the angels were spawned through the Most High and his wife. Now I'm going to tell you the real reason why the devil and his buddies got kicked out. Okay, and then why, when the stupid woman that they have now erased from your memory that she was never in the scriptures when she misunderstood the fact that when he told her that you're going to be my wife and you are my second, that she took it as inferiority because the devil was messing with her head, and that's why she got ticked off and said, no, I am like you, we are equals. And that is the concept, that's what the devil's mentality is. I am equal to my father. That's what started with her. Okay. But didn't understand that that was the plan because he did not want to bow down to flesh, because he lost the competition to Adama before she even existed, because he wanted to prove I'm better than this man you created, and he lost. It's always a challenge. Okay, this is in some scriptures that they have. The Eastern Orthodox Church got a lot of this. They took it out of the Western people because they already know what happened. Okay, now let's explain what's going on. The world already ended long time ago, but because of the redo, okay. At the most, because the Messiah came, he beat the heck out of these people. He did what he needed to do. He got the children collected, and he got the kingdom. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. On the Most High's timeline, everything is already done. He has a timeline that he started the whole thing from creation, and it runs through eternity. Never stops. Okay? What is really sin? changing timelines. You go on Lucifer's timeline and you get off of the Most High's timeline. That's what that's about. Repentance is about getting back on the Most High's timeline and staying there. Okay, this is why they want to trick us now because they know what they did. This is all part of the Operation Sandman, whatever they wanted to call it, Paperclip, Blue Book. I don't know all these names they're giving it now, but it started a long time ago with all of these secret codes and secret oaths and everything that they've been doing. And I'm gonna tell you why they're doing what they're doing because they already got their butt kicked. And they already know it. And the Planet of the Apes is the mockery of what they think happened in the future. And he already showed them, he about to show them, nah, it didn't work the way they thought because the people who came back to inform them of things that happened, the Most High, they only knew what they were supposed to know. They didn't get the revenge for, so that whole thing was, especially the one that was, the guy Brent in the future, he went in there, for anybody who's ever seen this stuff, he supposedly got these people riled up and the apes came in there and they started fighting and they started doing whatever, and then the bomb blew up everything, okay? You got to remember that because they don't want to give it away, those people were like the people who they showed you in The Wizard of Oz of the Wiz in 1978. They were supernatural beings. They were not the so-called apes or whatever you want to call them. They were supernatural beings, but they're going to cover that up. Okay. Those were the people who returned to Congo de Ntotela. Okay. They returned to Congo de Ntotela in one timeline, but you think that it didn't in another. And this is part of the deception. This is why people exist in different realms. But this is all part of why they took down the book of Hanukkah, because he talked about it. And there's a thing called the Legend of the Bayuda, all this stuff. They took these scriptures away because of what happened already, okay? So the Planet of the Apes is about the fact that the Most High already beat these people. He whooped them up, okay? So that's why we're going to get to what really happened over the last 200 years, including 9/11 and all that stuff. Okay, because the cattle, or what they call the fictional person, or what they call chattel, started because of what happened after 1865. Okay, in the 1500s, when allegedly Rome claimed that slavery was immoral. Okay, this is the white pope. We ain't talking about the gray and the black pope yet. They declared that slavery was immoral, illegal, whatever. This is why you're gonna keep people saying, like the guy that keeps tucking people, okay, get in here and listen to what I'm telling you, because he's part of this whole Agenda 46 too. This thing that Carter put in. Okay, if you think James Earl Carter was your buddy, man, you better rethink what I'm about to tell you. If you think any one of these presidents was your buddy since Lincoln, you better rethink everything because it goes back to what they call Johnson and Johnson. And if you ever know anything about Johnson and Johnson, the Andrew Johnson and LBJ Johnson are connected to this company, Johnson and Johnson, for a reason. Because everybody doesn't know John's son means like just like when you said Daniel's son, it means son of Daniel, son of John. It means son of it's just like something McDonald, son of Donald. Okay, we said Benna, they said Bar, because Bar comes from the gates of Babylon. Because I'm telling you, these people are Talmudic. They are. This is this what you did, and people don't know it, and that's why they took away the scripture that talked about it. There was a prison for the people who built Sodom and Gomorrah, and there was a prison for people who built the Tower of Babylon. So what you do is when you don't know what you're talking about, you open the gates to these prisons. So now what has happened is through the deception of the people who don't know what the heck they're talking about, you have brought demons to you instead of getting rid of them. And now they're out here and they open the stargates and you open their portals and you open their prisons. You're calling them to you, and now they're tearing up the whole world, but they're making it look like that they're nice. That's why the Most High said when he gonna lift the veil on this, He said, because this was part of the trick that started to happen after this. And I'm going to tell you, he was a shapeshifter. If you don't want to believe me, you're going to find out. This Willie Lynch thing, that dude was not, that person was not who you think he was, okay? He was one of these entities, whatever you want to call them. This is why he had to make this happen. Because they said, oh, we cannot control these people. No. What happened was, this is why they're lying. And nYambe and Bantwe Baklistu was teaching the truth from the beginning. Okay, many of us were teaching this when our people were acting stupid before the Messiah came, and many people were teaching this after he came, because that's why in the scriptures that they modified says, those of you who are already following the way, keep going. The rest of you, I'm here for the people who are sick. And what they changed was because, and they took this part out, because of the people who allowed these imposters in. So they didn't want you to catch that part. They were sick because we allowed the hypocrites in our kingdom. Okay? This is what they know is the original story. We let the hypocrites in. That's why they don't let the Christians read the Book of Maccabi. Everybody's sitting here talking about Hanukkah. Hanukkah was months ago. Because if the new year was back, because it happens around the 12th and 13th month, because there was 13 months, there was 28 days, it was 364 days a year. Why do you not know this? It's because you don't think you're in a simulation. You're going to find out after 2026 because it's over. It's over. That's why when they were saying something about whatever happened at the funeral for George H.W. Bush, he was part of this. Okay? He was part of the destruction of all melanated people. So don't think that these people are your friend, homie. Nah. Oh, black people love me. Yeah. We always love Cain. I don't know what the problem is. The Bana Betu especially, we always want to love Cain, and this is why this happened. Okay? So let's talk about it. People think that the Planet of the Apes was just a movie. No, it was a story about a future that you don't even know about because they erased it. General Thade, if you look at the name Thade, it means gift of God in the Yiddish. Okay? That's why they called him that. That was a code word for the Messiah. Now, when the actor who played the person Cornelius, if you look up what that name means, it's similar to what the Messiah's name would have been coded. He read this scroll, said, beware the beast man, because he is the devil's spawn. That is the mark of Cain he's talking about. Because the mark of Cain is the beast man. That is, he's talking about the beast. He is the among God's primates. Why did he say that? Because the Lucifer always calls people talking monkeys. The talking apes. Don't let this idiot keep fooling people, yo. Evolution comes from Lucifer. And he also is pretending to be the Most High because of what happened to him already. He got his butt kicked, toe up. And they used the space bridge to try to get revenge. And we're going to get there. Because they already saw the temple that they're going to build, destroy. They saw the future. They saw all this stuff. Why? Because they know this is the one thing that they will never tell you. Jacob has to curse himself, and Jacob has to destroy himself. It cannot be done by any other nation but his own self. This is the lie. That is why the Messiah had to say, do not hate your brother. And the Most High didn't want this. Why was Jacob killing each other? Because of Esau and his wicked way in his spirit. And because of Cain and all these other things. That's why he said, you go the way of Cain. This is how many of us became leprous for that very reason. Okay? The Canaanites were already like that because they turned leprous because they're killing everybody. They wanted to murder everybody because they got possessed by demons, because they opened up the gates to hell after they had already gotten their curse from Tata nYambe. Okay? Why won't you learn this history? Because they don't want you to know they already got tore up. This is why the lady made the Matrix. I wish that lady would have done something different, because I'm going to explain what really happened. Maybe she didn't know. Maybe nobody knows this whole story, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Okay? The Most High used Simon Tokwa and Kimbangu to fix what they changed. That's why I told people there's two Tokos and the two Kimbangos. You better watch yourself. They came to fix what already happened because of what they did. And so would some of the other people he sent to come and fix the problem that already happened, to put it back. Because the problem was what they did was, again, they broke the treaty of Noka because Cain don't care. He want everybody to be destroyed like him. This is that spirit. That's why they got you praying to a Roman temple and you don't think it's a Roman temple, because this was part of the plan too. Okay? Tatanzambi, when he told me the things that I'm about to tell you, everybody gonna say I'm unfriending Trey. I'm not gonna, yeah, he's crazy, whatever. Okay? The reason why they keep remaking the Planet of the Apes is because they're laughing because of something that happened in the future. And they think they got away with it. It's like, no, they didn't, because now they're going to find out it's over. They had their chances, the sand of time, because they're using, remember King of Persia? Anybody see that? That sand that keeps whoosh, okay? That hourglass, it's about to be done. You can't keep reversing it. And it runs off of the deception of the snakeskin. That sands of time thing, oh, stop the time. Okay, they put that in there. What is the stop the time about? Don't let them get to 1999, 2000. Here's for the 2000, boys. Why they always want to make a big deal about 2000, even in the NFL? Because it already happened. 2000 party over with, out of time. Yep. There's a guy who wrote the book 1984. He wrote it in 1949 because of what Toko already did. Okay, and because of incidents that already been altered. And this is the Johnson and Johnson connection. We're going to get into that. Okay, so for those who know the story about Kempovita, of course, people want to call her a witch. I don't care. People want to say, they always want to call people a witch when we beat their behind. That's the problem. When they can't, when they win, when they lose, we're a witch. Always. If they win, oh, they not a witch. Okay. But they don't ever win. The Most High is like, it's just the way it goes in the battle. Okay. Now, people have heard Jordan Maxwell, I'm sure. He did a lot of good teaching, but there's some things he did not. He didn't tell the whole story. Tino Solomon did exist, or I would, or many of us wouldn't be here. Okay. And the problem is he's being portrayed as something he never was. And there's a reason for that. Because, like I said, of what already happened. So, like I said, when it says in Daniel 20:25, they will seek to change times and laws, that included alternate time realities. That's why the one guy who brought it up and he made the calculations and he learned how they did it, they took him out. Because he's like, now he gave away the secret that you can jump to the different realms, okay? And you can create realities. That's why the Most High says what you think creates a reality that you don't need to exist in. And they know this. That's why when you think like the Most High, you stay in his reality. You don't think like the Most High, you go into whatever reality you've created. And that's what the strong delusion is about. So like he says, if you believe lies, then whatever lies you create, you're going to create whatever um, reality. That's why you have things up in the heavens that don't belong there. Okay, because what you make. Okay, and people have taught this, and I'm well aware of it because it's just my memory has been groggy because I already know what they did. Okay, if I tell you that story where they had these two of the apes that supposedly came back from the future. Now they embellished that whole story because those jokers never left nothing. They didn't go shopping around and doing all this other stuff and whatever. Nah, they was in lockdown. And then one of them did, they tried to kill him. The problem is they thought he killed him. They didn't because they don't. They thought they shot they got rid of the other two too. And of course, yes, she was pregnant, and we won't get to that. And that's part of what happened that people don't know that Toko was a part of when he knew that they did this. And that's why when he got out of prison, this is why they tried to stop him because they were afraid that what they saw with these people and what he was going to do was going to fulfill the prophecy, like Kimbangu said, of putting all of us back where we belong. That's part of the reason why the real Toko said you're praying to Nimrod. And Kimbangu said the same thing. The problem is people don't know this is why you're praying to Nimrod is the time space continuum deception. Because to change times and laws means to make a different calendar than the Most High's. So now if they put you in a belief that the Most High's time is like this, then you're on this timeline. This is why these calendars are all made up for different beliefs. Like you got the Chinese calendar, you got the Muslim calendar, you got all these calendars. These are going to put you on different realities because it's all about the Most High's timeline. He got a timeline. That's why I told people when you're born and they didn't, and simply didn't kind of comprehend it, you got 2 birthdays and you got 2 death days. You got the birthday and the death day on their captivity timeline, and then you got it on the Most High's. This is why things in the spirit happen before the flesh, because his reality will always happen first. The hypocrite's reality will happen after, but they're always trying to beat him to the punch. Because the devil is thinking he can outrun the Most High and he can race him and he can beat him and he's never going to catch him and he ain't never going to put him in captivity and never going to be locked down. But the Most High is always wherever he runs to, the Most High is already there. This is the problem. Okay? The devil can't be everywhere, the Most High is everywhere. But the problem is they made you think he looked like a modified leper. No, because that's part of the lie. And even if you say he's black, it could still be the hypocrite. Okay? What the world doesn't understand is it has never been, nor will it ever be December or whatever this month you want to call it in the Most High's reality. It did not exist. None of these calendars you hear in whatever country you're from, wherever you live, whatever language you speak in, these calendars did not exist. This is the scripture because what they did with the Planet of the Apes is they're trying to reverse Isaiah 14. And I'm going to read it. That's what that was. Okay. So when I go to Isaiah 14, you're going to see what he's saying. And this is exactly, it was called, it was name was Isaka, Isaiah, but they changed the names because they had to do this or else you would figure out what they did. And that's why now people are saying, oh, there's a video that they said they know. Yeah, you're gonna know more about the whole story. And because people gonna find out Donald Trump been here many times. You think you know who Donald Trump is? You have no clue who Donald Trump is. That's why they did his action figure. And it said, yep. Oh yeah. Now it says in Isaiah 14, I'll do the well, they go I'll switch it. I don't care. King James Bible was over 100 books, by the way. The original. They stripped it down to 66. And we'll get to that in a minute. All right. So let me share my screen. So people don't even know that story. They stripped it down. His book was over 100 books. And they stripped it down to 66 for a reason. All right. Let's see. Now, this prophecy, and this is why they're lying to the Christians, was a future prophecy. It had nothing to do with what you think you know. Okay, this was a future prophecy. He was looking into the future because the Most High Spirit is past, present, and future. So when you're with the Most High, you are also with him past, present, and future. You can be wherever he is, and that's why they don't want you to understand that when you're with the Holy Spirit, you are everywhere the Most High was, past, present, and future, and that's what allows you to go and see everything that he ever did or what he's going to do if he so chooses. And they know that, okay? That's why they want to keep lying to people, because if you're with the Most High, you are always where he is. Let me say it again. If you're with the Most High, you are always where he is, past, present, future. That's why he's unsacred. He's they say Alpha and Omega. That we didn't do no Greek stuff that was changed. You want to keep believing the Greeks? You'd be my guest. It was Mosi and Saku, okay, and Suka, Mosi and Suka. He never had a mug. He never had a beginning. He doesn't have an end. But they want to always think that they can beat him. And this is why he always says, okay, fine. You think you can beat me? It's never going to happen. You think you're going to kill all my, you're going to think you do all these things. It's not going to happen. Okay. That's why they keep messing with the clocks because they're convinced that the vampires are going to win. Yeah, well, the vampires have never won because they got beat already and they're going to get beat again. For the Mfumu will have mercy upon Yakubi, and will yet choose Isolde, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall join them, and they shall cleave to the house of Yakubi. This is a future prophecy. Now, this is why they are destroying everybody worldwide. This is why Esau's curse is ruining, and they know this is the truth because they know these people are Bantu people, and the strangers will cleave to them. That is what the Planet of the Apes is about. Now watch this. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of the Isolde, and possess them in their land, and the Mfumu for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they will rule over their oppressors. Okay. Who is the bottom? Canaan. Who is the top? The 12 tribes. I want you to remember what I just said. Okay? This name is three Egyptian gods, and there's a reason why they're not going to tell you that the middle name is the same God that you praying to right now, Ra. Because Ra thinks he's going to win. He ain't going to win nothing. He done lost. The Fumi Yusukusu kicked Ra's behind already. Oh, redo. Yeah, the redo ain't going to work. It was never going to. Okay? Katanzambi has kicked Ra's behind many times, but everybody want to be stupid. Oh, we love the house nigga. And also go, oh, we love Massa. Oh, we gonna be with Massa. We ain't never gonna leave Massa. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened in their attempt to do the redo. That's what they used to their advantage. Okay? And they shall come to pass in that day that the Mfumu will give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from their hard bondage wherein thou hast been made to serve. Now, if you remember, go back to Genesis, and we're not going to do it right now, where it says that when Kanani was cursed, he said, you will be the servant of Nsemu for eternity. And all the others, you will be at the bottom because you mocked the Most High and his servant for the fact that he was upset about what took place. The entity you called Noah is his spiritual child from the one that was called Noka. Noka became Noah when he made a pact and spiritually when he got drunk. That's why Lucifer even talked about the different stages of what happens when you are drunk. Of course, why you don't know that? Because they now poison you with all this stuff. You think they're not, they even come out and tell people they've been poisoning and stuff. Now they're going to come out and say, oh no, see, no, we didn't poison nothing. They poisoned our wells when we run our kingdom. By the pay to be sold. That's why the Mosai said, they did this when they came into the Bantu kingdom. So don't tell me they didn't do it now, because the Canaanites are always like this. They want to get they want to get the bread and keep it. And that was our fault because we don't ever learn. Stay away from Canaanite gods. Now we loving them all day long. And I'm going to get to that point why. Okay? That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. When you're going to find out who that is, y'all going to lose it. Who hath the oppressed, who hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. Why do you think you keep hearing this word, the golden age? It was even mentioned among the Arabs when they were talking about science and technology. They called it the golden age too. Yeah. Everybody going to find out the thinker, he's a trickster. The Infumo have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Okay, that means already did it. Not going to, it means he already did it. The Fumu has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. What they want you to make you believe that they want you to live in a reality like it's going to happen when it already did. That's why CERN is satanic. This computer or hadron collider or whatever they want to call it now, and it's out there. You can look it up. It's not fiction. The man did the guy. I can't remember his name. He came out and he was doing a seminar and he was explaining CERN. And what he did is he told a story about his two children that were fighting over a teddy bear. Now, emphasis on the word teddy bear because he's giving you a code that he's Masonic because of what they used the waka 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 teddy bear for. Because you think you left Sodom and Gomorrah, you fool yourself. Why you think now you're seeing it coming out in the open? And that's what the whole point of the porn industry was, to show you you are really sodomites. And everybody think, well, they were all on against it. No, they were showing you with the porn industry what was going on behind closed doors. Because you never stop being Saturnalia, and that's what the porn industry is about. Okay? But you think that the people, that's why I said, you see it now, many pastors, many imams, many people, this is what these people are doing behind closed doors with the kingdom of Lucifer masquerading as the Most High. Okay? They just put it out there so you can see who you really are, a whore of Babylon, because this is what Mystery Babylon is about. Sexual immorality took down Babylon many times. And it took down the kingdom of Tatanzambi many times. Because why? We always want to be like the stupid idiots. Why is that? I have no idea, but it's going to stop very soon. Okay? So now, every civilization has had a whorehouse. Don't think they didn't. Because that woman has always been doing this because she cannot have a husband and she thought that she was going to be inferior. That's why when Mama Ava was yes, and she came out of because the reason why she came out of Adama is the Most High recognized, well, this woman needs to come out of the spiritual temple because the other woman that I made out of the ground, she claimed she wanted to uh, go with the jackass who fell. So I'm saying this woman's going to come out of the spiritual temple. It wasn't that he made a mistake, it's that he gave that woman a choice to be like the image of the Mondavelana. That's why they wanted, the whole reason why they made, I'm going to tell you what they really mean when they say Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Tubal, Jubal, and Jubal Cain, the runt of the litter, because he was not as big as they were. And they were huge people. As a lady right now, she came out and was being scapegoated with this huge head she was sitting next to. And of course, she claims to be the bloodline, which she's not. And that big old head she was sitting next to was Tubal Cain's head that got popped off when his father knocked it off, because that's how big his father Lamecca was. He popped his head off when he made him kill Cain in the trickery. That's where the trick or treat really came from when they made the Sam Hines stuff. Okay, the Mfumu, he who smote the people with wrath and with the continual stroke that the rule that he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. The whole world is at rest and is quiet, and they break forth in singing. Now, this happened. On the Most High's timeline, this happened. Okay, it did. The whole world was at rest. It broke out in singing. The Messiah had defeated the snake. Everything was good. Yeah. But guess what? Somebody wanted revenge. Somebody wanted revenge to undo it. and he thought he could undo it because he never stops. Okay? And the Most High let him do it because, again, they don't ever stop. Do you think you're going to break the peace and everybody going to just stop? No. And the Most High let them think that he could do this, and that's why they're not telling you the full truth. Okay? Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is upon against us. Hell from beneath is moved from thee to meet thee in thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and thy noise of the vials. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. This is what happened after they saw the bright light, whatever it is, whatever. No, the Most High beat them down again. Okay? How thou art fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning star. There was a star there. They deleted that part. It was son of the morning star. Yeah, that's why they don't want you to know. How art thou cut down to the ground? Was this weaken the nations? How did he weaken the nations? He poisoned you. Poison was the biggest weapon he used, even with Mama Ava. When it's in the book of Bartholomew, they took it out because they're going to show you that's the trick. He poisons the water. He poisons the food. Okay? And then he can actually change himself into anything. And they took that scripture out because they didn't want you to know he becomes another. And the word Person is in one of the demons of the book of Solomon. It's just spelled with the P. So now you the PUR. That's why you carry around that woman's carry that. That's a demon in there. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven and will exalt my throne above the stars of nYambe. So what are the stars? Go to Revelation 12. Lucifer takes a third of the stars. Oh, so when they invented this education system that so many Christians think is the best thing because they're under flipping hypnosis of the stupid Saturn god. Oh, I take my side to school, and my science teacher says stars are this and this and that. That's why they did laughing at the Masimba Wayuda when they were mocking the Lion King. That was a mockery of what took place with the child of Revelation 12. Right there. That's really connected to him. My father said the stars are the kings of the heavens. They start laughing, right? All the stars are kings and queens, but on what side? Because Lucifer got his stars, and then the Most High got his. This is why you cannot just pray to and think everybody's talking to the Most High, because Lucifer got the halo stars, and he got the stars with the crowns on them. But the goal is turn everybody into the halo. Why do you think everybody's singing, let me see your halo, halo? Why? You're going to be destroyed again. You don't need to see no stupid halo. I don't know what's wrong with our people, man. But see, some of these people, and I'm glad they finally talked about it, the number 27 is Genesis 27. And when the idiot who thought he was uh, tricked by his brother and his mom, but he thought he was already in the womb like Cain. That's why he was trying to be in Simba and get out and be in Zuzi and fight with his brother. People said, I've never heard of no story about no babies fighting. How come that doesn't happen anymore? Uh-huh. We're going to get into that. The tussling. What really was going on was that was the spirit of Cain that got itself in there. And part of it had to do because in Saka, he did a sin. That's why part of the reason why he started to go blind. Okay? You got to understand that. They're gonna mess with my thing now because I'm giving out too many nuggets. Okay? For thou hast said to thy heart, I will ascend to heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of Tata, and I will sit upon the mount. Because blindness, if you go And you look at some of those demons in the Testament book, there's a demon that causes blindness. That's why a ascendancy was used to remove it. So now, why do you think nobody's taking mud out of the ground where it comes from, the power, and now putting on people's eyes and say, oh, I can see, I'm not blind anymore. But yet they say they have the Holy Spirit. Why aren't they doing that anymore? When the Messiah went and took the mud out of the ground, and as a pastor, he'd even put this in one of in his preachings. Okay, well now why aren't you doing that? Why aren't pastors going and taking the mud where they can get the mud from and put it on people's eyes and say, oh, I can see now? Why aren't you doing that? We're going to get into that part. Because actually, there were people who did it and they knew where to get the mud from. The point was they knew how to mimic the Most High's Son the right way, and everything that he did, they did, and that's how you get the power back. We knew how to mimic him. That's why you said, the shepherds that feed my voice, we mimic him, we do what he did, everybody's fine, boom, you got the kingdom. Yeah, this is why they had to create the jackass. And we're going to get into him in a minute. Because right after that happened, they made the idiot who now he does the silver, and now when you make the payments, and that's why that's why the Most High said, whoever passes their children over the fire of MOLOCH, you neither have the kingdom here or ever again. That was the goal of the people who went to the bottom, who already got towed up. Because the tribes came together, we became one nation once again, and boom, everything was all right. The Most High brought the judgment. We got the 2000. Yeah. Then I knew, man. Okay, that happened already. I'm telling y'all, you're dealing with a lot of sorcerers out here that don't know this took place already on his timeline. This is why they're going, man, he gonna blow that thing up. That stupid thing is a pain because Cain didn't win. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell on the sides of the pit. That's why everything is about 9/11, and I'm going to give you that. That is Revelation 9/11 right there. The pit of a you know what. And that's why Apollo is Apollyon. Why do you have these people now using these names and you don't realize that's a demon? Oh, we're going to the moon on Apollo 11. Apollo is loose. That's the pit of Apollyon. Okay? Or Apollo 13 or whatever they called it. The eagle has landed. That's the wicked eagle that was the eagle next to Zeus, not the Most High's eagle that they took out. They took that out too for a reason. Because the Most High eagle beat the crap out of the other one already. That's why they want you to now come back in the redo and blaspheme everything and whatever. The Most High is like, he said, that's why he's going to say, I'll let you think you could defile everything and still win. Nah, over. They said they shall narrowly. See, this is why they had to make Admiral Byrd shut up. When he went to the North Pole and he said, wait a minute, why do I see woolly mammoth? That's why they did everything he said, they came to act like, oh, he's false now. No, that never happened. He never saw this. Why do you think they did that? Because the people who were on the Most High's timeline, they see the real world and what isn't. Everybody who believes what the jackass was spitting out, you go into a different reality and on a different timeline, in a different plane, in a different portal. Okay, that's why they don't want you to know about the portals that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof and opened not the house of his prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them lie in glory, even one in his own house. But thou art cast out of the grave like abominable branch, and as the remnant, as a raiment of those that are slain thrust through. Now, why? Cain is what? The god of war, right? You go the way of Cain. You were like your father, the devil, because he was a murderer from the beginning. But he also had pride. That was the first sin. See, you hear people talk about, oh, the devil fell because of his pride. What was his crime, though? Oh, he said he's going to be like the Most High. Because of what? You're missing that part. Why he said he's going to be like the Most High is because of what happened before that. See, you only reading this scripture, but you don't got the other part of Hanukkah that said why he fell. And they took it out because that book called The Legend of the Bar Yuda, it was a part of the book of Hanukkah that they split out for that too, where it talks about Cain's dog, where it talks about the children of Adama and Lilith, where it talks about the fact that Cain would not bow down to flesh, and they put that in the book of Bartholomew, and they took that away from you, and it's right there, and then everybody goes and reads it and says, oh, but that was Gnostic doctrine, or that was this doctrine. Man, please be quiet. Because that is how they are now trying to win the war they already lost. This is the problem. The Most High says, he's like, I already did it. Every time he tells me this, I already beat him. I already whooped him. And they mocking me in Hollywood and they mocking me here because run tell that don't ever learn. Stop working for master's intentions. Because they said, oh, master, Most High, he turn up your house and we gonna help you get it back. You know how they did that? They used their powers because the Most High don't ever take the gifts away from his children. They know the difference. They said the only way you can get back at the Most High, and he said, I'm going to let y'all house Negroes think you won. That's why they got to keep everybody shut up about what really happened because they know the Masons already got their butts kicked. Now they want to get a redo. Oh, yeah, Most High, we going to beat you. He said, okay, come on, bring your people over. And they still lost. They don't know the story because they only saw what the people told them when they came back. Well, all we saw was the earth destroyed, and we think, the Most High said they didn't destroy nothing. They didn't see the rest. And they wasn't going to see the rest because he blocked it. That's why they keep saying, some dudes say, why you keep moving in the future and we're blocked at a certain level? Okay, now watch what's going to happen. Like I told people, you love the hypocrite, you're going to stay on his timeline. And whatever's going to happen with that. You don't love the hypocrite, you're going to go back to the right timeline where the Most High already did it. And you're going to see this. He's like, wait a minute, we already in the kingdom. Wait a minute, we already won the war. Yeah. Who was you listening to? It's done already. I sent some people back to fix it because they don't listen. I already whooped them. I already did this. They thought they could beat me. They did all this stuff with the illusions and the Houdini and all the spells, and you think that this is a real world, and all the people that's been dying, like you said, you die in the Matrix, you die in real life, because if you're in the world of the dead, you're going to be treated like the world of the dead. That's the problem. If you're in the world of the living, you're going to be treated like the world of the living, and that's why they did the mockery, because they showing you in the remake of the Planet of the Apes is the redo of how he whooped them again. Because the 1968 version is what he already did. Then the later on that they made is that he had to come back and do it again. Because that's the final time. Oh, you finally come to save your apes? You think he's talking about when even in that movie when Woody Harrelson was talking to him, you say you think you talking about apes that evolved? Caesar, the lawgiver, that is Kuswa, that is the Messiah, that is him. Oh, you talking monkey that we hung from a tree? They always hung in. That's why they always. Aren't you glad I didn't say banana? That was one thing I heard out of Genesis. I'm like, now I understand. I got the connection why Eddie Murphy said, I ain't going to fall for the banana in my tailpipe. He's talking about sodomy right there in the movie Axel F and coding. Because you in Sodom and Gomorrah with all these demons again, man. But they keeping it, they paying people so much money to say, shh, shh, shh. Man, you're being run by sodomites and you think you're not. And people are going to find out the hard way. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. This happened already over the last 200 some years. Let me tell you the story about Abraham Lincoln. That's why when I heard that lady talking about, I don't know what she was talking about. She said, I saw my grandfather in this picture, and they said, if you see the picture with Lincoln in the chair, burn it. The problem with her grandfather is he was not born in the 1800s. That's why he said burn it. How you think he got back to the 1800s if he wasn't born in the 1800s? Yeah, we're going to get to that part because the space bridge is not fake. They putting it right there in movies, but they're going to tell you it's science fiction when this has been going on for centuries. Oh, Men in Black, white, psh, mine white. Give them another story about how things happen. The Tartarian, why do you think they're now talking about we need a reset now that they learned about Tartaria Barbaria, which we had nothing to do with? That was the whole thing between the same garbage of the war that was going on between the Egyptians and the Hittites. It never stopped. It became Tartarian Barbaria, but we were always Congo de Totala. Always. From before the Messiah came and after. That's why people going to say, oh no, that's not true. Congo de Totala only existed. Yeah, because the referendum that they made in 19 for 46, which 46 is 10 was Cain, because they're mocking you with the kumi, which was our word for 10, to show you that you're being, you know what, messed over. Okay? They know they playing you for stupid. That's why they playing you for stupid. That's why you think Carnegie said a sucker's born every minute. Because they knew they were playing you. Because they know what they did. Because they made a bunch of people sapsuckers. That's where that word came from. And then they make you, where do you think they get the term young blood from? The young blood comes from the concept that they need the young blood for those who are vampire, sucking your energy and suck. And see, the lady who did the interview, when she talked about the book, she said, don't let people zap your energy. Yeah, but they already tricking her. Okay, she already being tricked. Because Congo de Totala is who the Matrix is about. And what already happened, Sione. And that war that's going on between the robots and the machines and the Centurions and all this other stuff and all that. And that's why you think in the movie they call that ship after a Babylonian god to show you that it was a duality going on. Okay? They had to do that or they would have given it away because you're on the wrong ship. You're on the ship with Nebuchadnezzar and all of them, and you're supposed to be on the Ark Moanda with the Most High. That's why Toko said, Most High already did it. And that's why he said 1981. Yeah, there's a movie that tells you, I'm going to reverse it. Who did that? Superman. Gosh, I'm going to reverse this. What happened? Man, you don't even know what happened in 1981, people. You got put on another one of them timeline chains, reset. Okay, but thou art prepared to slaughter, for I will raise up. So that whole thing about when Superman was Lois Lane, he was like, oh my God. No, that is what happened. The nuclear war. Oh no, I'm going to fix it. So Saturn come back because that's who he is, and I'm going to reverse it. And never happened. Like it never happened. He couldn't, okay, because Lex Luthor said, I am going to send one bullet this way, and I'm going to send one this way. And I'm going to see if you can catch them both. And he didn't do it. When you're going to find out how these people take good and bad, the Most High said, I already did it. They turned them against each other and boom, blah, 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 blah. And we hit 2000. Mm-hmm. That's why they talk about what really happened in 1984. You have no idea what CERN is. It's the reset button. Okay? I will make a possession of bitter pools of water. It will also make it a possession for the bitter and pools of bitter, and I will sweep it with the bosom of destruction, says the Infumo of hosts. The whom of hosts has sworn, surely as shall come and pass, I have proposed, shall it so stand. What you need to understand is the Most High always, always purifies his creation of too much wickedness. It has to happen, or you will not survive. If the wickedness overcomes his people or any of the whole world, you would have never been allowed to be here till now. It would have happened a long time ago. That I will break the Assyrian in my land upon my mountains. Where is the Syrian now chilling out in his land? Oh, we want to go and get they had a meeting, uh, Mr. President of this country and president, we're gonna get the peace going and now we're gonna get the minerals that we supposed to have. Where's our minerals at? We bought. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about this whole thing, because remember, Joe Biden was a Catholic, and the Protestants don't like the Catholics. Donald Trump is a Protestant. Okay, what's really going on with that war? Are we going to take you back to Spain and all that stuff? The problem is Rome says, we know that you are still the daughters of Rome. No, we're trying to cut that cord. How are you going to cut that cord when the problem was Rome is trying to erase the people that actually already taught the truth before the Protestants who hijacked it? And they lying about that history. Because the point is, when Kemper Vita said the Most High said you attack the Most High gonna attack you, yeah, he did. He beat the brakes off of him, and we got back on the timeline, and everything happened like it was supposed to. And the Messianic got his city, he got everything going. And Runtel that was like, hey, we're gonna help you stop it. Because the fallen angels said, oh, we lost. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna help you reverse. And the Most High said, yeah. You think you can still beat me? You didn't. Well, let's go. Round two, round three. Best two out of three. Let's bet. This is what we're going through, people. You don't even know you're going to find out this was a bet between the devil and the Most High. He keeps saying, I know I can beat you. I know I can beat you. You just give me the one. He even said in this round, they ain't even going to remember you. And now you're going to lose. He said, it's not going to happen. Even if they don't remember me, I will find them and they will find me. This is in scriptures that they said, no, don't put it out there. Okay, you're going to find out the hard way. That's why people are going to find out you not finding the door, because the devil tried to hide it. But Most High said, you're not going to hide the door. This is why they had a problem when Togo came and Kimbang and said, oh, you thought you was going to get this, huh? We're gonna help them find the door again. That's part of the reason why they wouldn't let them come to this country. And then when people started to, yeah, that was a problem. And then they still didn't do what they were supposed to do, because they knew the secret society's job is they found the door once, we're not going to let them find the door again. Nah, we can't do that. No. Because we know what's going to happen when they find the door. Okay? Because we found the door in the 1800s, people. And man, you don't even know what we did to them them Nephilim Anunnaki. Oh my gosh. If he didn't do this, you wouldn't be here today. Even in the reset, if he wasn't whooping them, you wouldn't be here today, because they would annihilate every Banabetu ever in their opportunity to win. Wonder Woman would wipe you out. Why you think he whooping the heck out of her? Even right now, she can't wipe you out, because it says, you sons of Yakubi are not consumed. If she was against Yakubi, like she said, if the whore of Babylon who hates the Most High, why she ain't wiping out the Ashkenazi Jews? Okay, why is she not killing why is she not killing them people? When the Most High destroyed her kingdom, the whore of Babylon, these people should be tore up by her herself, by her own, the whole nation should be trying to destroy every one of those people. Because it's supposed to say, we're going to come together, Psalms 83, that you shall no longer be in existence. But yet we have a country and countries saying, no, we're going to help y'all. We're going to help y'all. We're going to help y'all. Man, you don't even know what these people have done. Is to say to the Most High, no, we gonna get our 8 billion workers. No, we ain't going back to Cybertron. No, you ain't gonna get us to go to prison. We put them in prison already. We already did it. How you think they got out? Run tell that. Oh no, master. We gonna fix this. Because they survived that they survived the fallout of the war. Oh, master, we gonna help y'all fix this. We gonna help. Yeah. Phew, you don't even know, man. You think it didn't happen? Let's go back to what really happened in 1950s. Russia in America. What did happen? Why they don't want to tell you the whole truth about this? Between Putin and Khrushchev and Kennedy. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. Watch this. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. And I will kill thy root with famine, and they shall slay the remnant. Oh, how, O gate, O Christ city, whole Palestina art dissolved. Whole Palestina art dissolved. Because that is the real name for Esau's kingdom, Palestina. And it ain't just in the so-called place you call Palestine, it's worldwide. Our desire. So now why you see the Ashkenazi Jews saying, some of them saying, oh no, that's the Zionists. We ain't like that. We for Palestina. Woo! Boy, you don't know the history. What shall one then answer the messenger of the nation? That Mfumu hath founded Zion, and the poor and his people shall trust in it. People, what did Dr. King say before they shot him? I gotta help my poor brother, or he gonna come and get me. They already know the poor inherit the kingdom. The Most High's chosen inherit the kingdom. So then how can these billionaires and trillionaires running around here talking about, oh, look what I'm doing, look what I'm doing, how they going to inherit the kingdom? When it's the complete opposite of what the Most High said. He's among the poor. He's among the people who are hurting. He's among the people who are in need. And he's going to give you rest. And he's going to give you what you need. He's going to tell you to love. So what are these preachers preaching out here? We're not just talking about Christians. We're talking about Muslim, Christian, Hebrew Israelites. Same thing. You think those leaders of the Hebrew Israelites aren't paid? Big money, big cars, nice house? This is what Toko was even talking about. So now how you going to have these people making all this big money and the poor over there in Angola are still sitting there struggling when the Most High says the poor will be the ones on top? Yeah, it happened already. Let me tell you the story. Okay, I'm going to lose a lot of followers on this one, but that's fine because Hollywood's full of crap. It's called Hollywood for a reason. Woo, woo, woo. Houdini spells. All right. So the Most High got his revenge on Rome when they destroyed Kemper and all those people when they was talking about Yesu was a Mukongo. He brought massive destruction on the Masons and the Catholics. If you don't think he did it, he did it. Okay? Now, don't think we didn't see the Most High bring his wrath upon Esau for that. This is why you're going to have people now doing mind wipes and whatever. Okay? So now, slavery is going on. This is when the Caribbean and everybody else started to break their chains and understand He is on our side, not yours. Many people started to manifest. They started to do things. Boy, they was out here jacking them up. And they found out that we are not fooling around here. This man, we gonna get towed up. It became the Freemasonry deception started. Okay? And the Illuminati and whatever you want to call them is because they needed to make sure, wow, these people cannot figure out who they are. Because now you will turn back into the Yeti. Yes, you will. For those of us who were the warrior class of the Most High's army. Yes, they did start to do things like, wow, what the heck is that? Boom, boom, boom. Calling down angels and fire, and the slave master was falling down dead and all kind of stuff. You don't think this happened? Yes, it did. Okay? So now we get to the 1800s. Slavery is already ending people. And the Bantu people that were freed were already in possession of land and power. Because the whole thing is a hoax about the Civil War. Whatever that story they're telling you in the history books, trash it. Because Lincoln didn't do jack crap. Who freed the slaves? The supernatural Bantus that they don't even want to write about, that beat the crap out of the giants that was still sitting there with them running the plantation. The 25-foot giants and stuff, where they go? Why they disappear from the history books? What happened? Oh no, there was no giants. No. They didn't exist. We beat the brakes off of these people because they would have not, you would have been still eating feed. Now once again, because of run tell that, what we doing again? Fee, fi, fo, fum mess. Okay? The 12 tribes came together after 1865 and started the process of transitioning the people back to the Most High's timeline and off of the system that they were under. Kimbangu and Toko led us to victory just like they prophesied in that timeline over Lucifer. Beat the brakes off of these people. You don't know the history, man. The technology and stuff that they keep hiding from you was already there. They're not going to tell you that. Okay? The whole uh, the whole thing about Star Wars and all that stuff was already there. Tartaria, all these other things, it was already there. We beat the hell out of them. Because the 400 years was 1885. I'm keep trying to tell people that. Okay? Toko and Kimbangu, they know the story. They already whooped the heck out of these people. Now, what happened? We started to separate. Our kingdoms were starting to rise and their kingdom was starting to fall. Okay? It was already beginning to happen. Because as we were regaining our knowledge, they were going broke. They were losing their money. Everything was happening just like they was talking about when we go home. Because at the time that he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, that ended the corporation of what? Britain. Ended it. You think that these presidents you've seen that in the history books were real? Man, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna find out the hard way. Okay? The United States of America ended in 1865, and all of the nations attached to it when he signed that Emancipation Proclamation. And many of us who were already free helped our people get away from Cain and the hybrids and whatever the heck they want to call it. Okay? The whole Buffalo Soldier story didn't even start to manifest until after the reset. Because we did help the indigenous people. We started to show people we are the people of the book again. and regained our power and learned how to walk in the truth. Now, the house Negroes and whoever was doing that, they were part of the issue. They're the ones that kept the other part going. The rest of us, we left the timeline that they were on. We said, this ain't right. We're going back to our way. Okay? So now you got two timelines going at once. Okay? What we did on our timeline, we got to 2000. We destroyed Babylon and the Most High did exactly what it says. They took the people in who held them captive and they started to rule over them just like it happened. Just like it says in the book of Isaiah. It did happen. That's what happened. Oh, run tell that going to say, okay, Master, the Most High beat you. He whooped y'all. We're going to help you get revenge. We're going to get payback. Because it was their army versus the Most High's army, and they got wiped out. Oh, yes, they got wiped out. Okay? Because Toko, he know the truth. That's why, and when they did the reset, this is why he ended up in prison. That's why Kimbangu ended up where he was at, because he know they went back to 1885 and said, restart, pew, and that's when they broke apart the continent, by the way. All of that stuff happened in 1871. It started right there, okay? So now, the space bridge, you think it's false. What they did is they jumped from their timeline to our timeline to try to stop what already happened. This is why everything is a classified above top secret by everybody in the people who know that these entities that they come from the bottom, where everything is, this is why they're going to start making stuff up because the concept was if we don't let them merge together, we win. That is why the one song that came out later in time, you think it's about racism? No, it's about do not let the black people become one people. We already know what happened the last time when it worked. Because when Kimbangu said, I will be the person for this and this and that, okay? In the Most High's timeline, he became that 100 years thing, it happened. Okay? We got to 2000, yes, all the time. Okay? Yeah, it was all, bro, man, you don't even know. Because that's why in the movie they're showing in the Matrix, there's a kingdom that's separated from the kingdom that's the fake. And what the Most High had to start doing after things happen, he had to start plugging people back in to go tell the people, get your butt out of here. Now I'm gonna tear it up for real because they already tried to destroy us. And it didn't work. This is why you get people saying deja vu. Why? Because the Most High's timeline is still running, and then you got other people on other timelines trying to get on our timeline to stop it because it already happened. So this is why you got people loving on the stupid dog god today. Because what they did when they went back to do the reset, they erased all the people who could possibly know what took place before, rewrote an entire history, including what really happened in the Renaissance and all the other things and all that stuff. That's why in the history book you start with slavery. That's why when you want to go talk to secret society members, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, whatever. No, man. The Messiah beat the brakes off of the devil already, people, on the Most High's timeline. The one he made, the Book of Hanukkah, the 364, he came back. CERN made you think it didn't happen. You waiting on him. Yeah, we waiting on Messiah. No, he was here. Whooped him. They wanted to see if they could pull everybody away from that kingdom that was already doing Isaiah 14 because they got mad and they saw how they were being treated exactly like what it says. You will be now over the oppressor, and now you will now be he will be now your servant. And came and the you know who, them puffed up priests are saying, oh no, this is not going to happen. We need to fix this. With all of this stuff they're looking into the future with. Okay? Because they already know he did it on the Most High's timeline. That's why they had to take people off of the timeline. This is what started with the Gregorian calendar. It was already messed up with the Julian calendar. We even told them people we ain't going off of that. We fought them. We fought all of these people over these things. They're killing the whole histories. I'm telling you, even the Crusades and all this other stuff, they have not told the full story about it. And they won't until the Most High going to expose it. Okay? The enemy of the world was always against the Banabete of Isolde, even our own. That's why this is the most I said. The world is suffering because of that fake tribe that should have never been allowed in, Mandani. Yeah, because we found Mandani. And Mandani joined with us, and the Most High then it went right down the line. Everybody started to learn the truth. Everybody started walking in power, and everybody started to learn how to do things again that was opposite what Rome was indoctrinating people with. And the war broke out, and we beat the brakes off of them because we separated like we were supposed to. We didn't join with them. We didn't do that. Oh yeah, we're going 40 acres and a mule. At that time, we said, oh no, we ain't doing that. We going home. We're going back to the Most High. That in that reality, we did go back to the Most High. Everybody said, nope, we're not doing that. We're going home. We're not listening to the house Negroes. We're not doing none of that. We're going back to the truth. Yes, that happened. Okay? Now, let's get to the real story, shall we? About how they got to that kingdom and what happened that they think that they succeeded, because that's why they keep throwing out that name Taylor, Brent, Doge, and Landon. And we would say Lando, okay? Lando Calrissian, okay? Let's get into that character, okay? And of course, the other woman whose name, that's why they throw that name in, they did the mouse thing with Stewart, okay? The lady who was all part of that, she supposedly died. I'm going to give you the mechanism. Of course, for the Hollywood, they had to do whatever they did. However, the movie that gave you the truth about what they really used, is a couple of them. It was all about skunk works. Now, when people are familiar with the SR-71 Blackbird, they're familiar with the F-117 stealth fighter. They're familiar with the B-2 bomber and all these other things. This is all about skunk works. Okay? So in our reality, there is still skunk works. And what they did is devise a means to take a weapon and jump the Sprache Bridge to our timeline and reverse and try to bomb our city. You remember people keep talking about, oh, they bombed this, they bombed, yeah, all this, they talk about what happened in Black Wall Street, what happened in Puerto Rico, what happened, all these other things. This is a precursor because they're doing it now because of what they already tried to do. And then people talk about what happened in Philadelphia and the Most High, and they keep talking about they were spraying people and all this other stuff. What they're doing now is to deter what already started. This is why what really happened in 1929, what happened in the 1800s, what happened now with World War I, II, and III, and the World War III already started back with 9/11. Okay, why did this stuff already happen like this? Okay, let's get there. So now, the space bridge, which they claim they're going to tell you, no, it don't exist. No, it's not real. It's science fiction. No, never heard of it. Classified, top secret, right? Area 51 stuff. Okay. On our timeline, everything was good. Everything happened the way Most High wanted. They said, all right, we're going to whoop the people who stayed on their timeline, because this is the world you're living in now. They said, we're going to find a way to reverse this. Because you got to remember, if you're not in the Most High's kingdom, you're on the wrong timelines. Okay? So now what they did on the Most High timeline and everything that happened on that timeline, everything went the way it was supposed to. Because when you don't sin or you stay in the truth, you stay in the right path. And we were learning how to do just that. Don't go back to Esau. Don't go back to Cain. Don't listen to nobody. Stay with the Most High. And we did. Many of us did. And that's how we won the war when eventually they tried to take us out. Okay? Then the Most High said, now we took them we went and they became our servants. All of that stuff took place. Everything happened just like that. Just like what Isaiah was prophesying. Toko can tell you the story. The real Toko and the real Kimbangu, they know the story very well. That's why I told people, man, quit listening to these people that are not who they say they are. Okay? They showed up because of what happened in 1885. Yeah, the sun did dance. The sun danced even before that. You don't even know. The Most High brought the sun dance and everything before the 1900s. You're going to find this out. Okay? So all of that stuff did happen, and we were ready for it. And it was like, yeah, and the devil did want to make the war. But in that reality, he didn't do like what he did the next time. Because, we beat him. We whooped him, and we won. Okay? And then we got our kingdom back, and we did what we were supposed to do. And Hollywood made a mockery of the fact that they said, now what we going to do, Mr. Most High? We know we can go and beat you and destroy you. He saw them coming through the thing, and they come with this machine to come and bomb it, and they make it crash. And they crashed it because it wasn't going to work. Now, the reason why I'm going to tell you is I know that they got frustrated with me because in 2000, I was writing a book called The Return of Satan. This is after I wrote my book called The Forgotten Being, which I didn't know sent shockwaves to a lot of people, and they didn't like it. Now, the man who should have come here in 2001, if he would have been listening to the Most High and done what he was supposed to do, a lot of things that happen now would have been different. But again, the Most High got to redirect us now because nobody knows. Back in 1885 and we all got knocked off the timeline because of certain events that now transpired that you don't even know about because they erased it. Okay? Because the concept was they knew we were going to merge at some point. So that they said, okay, if we can change and they don't get these meetings and they don't have this stuff, bam, we win this time. Okay? This is the Johnson and Johnson connection. We're going to get there. Yeah, how did LBJ end up as okay? You're gonna find out. You think I'm lying? Why you think they said there's all of these consistencies between the people who served under, like they said, Lincoln got shot in a place called Kennedy. Kennedy got shot in a car called Lincoln. Then they had secretaries as this. They had both of them had vice presidents named Johnson. Why you think there's all these parallels right here? This is what I'm talking about. When people talk about and Booth, okay, he got shot in a theater, and they caught Lee Harvey Oswald in a theater, and then he was in a warehouse, but then they caught Booth in a warehouse from the theater. So it was like that. Oswald went from a warehouse to a theater. Booth went from a theater to a warehouse where he got caught. This is all the parallels they're talking about. Okay? I'm going to explain that whole paradox right now. Okay? The scriptures make it very clear, and Daniel said, when you see the abomination that makes desolate standing in the holy place, let the reader understand to flee to the mountains. Okay? We fled. We knew the abomination. We were serving the abomination that makes desolate. When we got free from slavery, we said, we out of here. We know about this Saturn because we knew it. We were experiencing it. We were a part of it. They raped us continuously into these things. We were bedwinched. They knew all of this stuff was going on. They knew the rituals were pagan. Why you think all of a sudden when Christmas was illegal, they brought it back? When did that really happen and why? We're going to talk about that part and Easter. Okay? This is why they lying about the fur babies and the Cabbage Patch Kids and all this other stuff. This is all tied to the Planet of the Apes deception. Okay? So now they sent a weapon to our timeline to try to get revenge for what already happened to their cities, just like it says in Isaiah. I wiped out their cities. I made everything a desolation. Their children were destroyed. Okay? Gone. Cain was over. However, like in the days of Noah, remember how they said, oh, some of the Nephilim, I think they survived and they did. You have to remember, yeah, the war hit, but they had the fallout. And what happened was the people was hiding underground. This is why that movie shows you that. The people who were buried underground, and you see how they was under there in the original movie, what they needed is they were getting wind of the fact that the Most High's attack was coming. Oh, the Most High is coming with his attack. You better get. And they went to hide, right? In the clefts of the rocks. Okay? Just like that timeline. And they're doing it again right now, actually. Okay? But this time they think they got it made. And that 1950, if you go look at the UN 1952 mural, that is why they think they won because of what they have now done that they're not telling you. Because they wanted to, they knew Kimbangu was going to prophesy. Remember, the scripture says they were waiting for us. But in their first go round, they didn't get it right. In their second go round, they didn't get it right again. And in the third go round, now they think they got it this time because you're going to find out this is why it's called Groundhog Day. Okay? They keep trying to fix it to keep the McFly family from going to prison, just like they coding it. No, McFly, we can't get you to go to prison. No, we're going to stop this. Okay? So now, what people don't understand is the book of Hanukkah was removed because a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about and other scriptures that I'm talking about, it was made very clear what the enemy was going to do. He was going to try again. No, I'm going to beat you, Most High. No, you're not going to beat me. But you can think you're going to beat me, but I'm not going to beat you. You're not going to beat me. Okay? So now, in order, because remember, in the future of the Most High's kingdom, it goes back to Hosea. No one can have its one language and no one can speak any words of blasphemy. Okay? So those who speak the words of blasphemy, those are marked with Cain, they are meant to be silenced. So now in the movie that they made in 1968, you see all these wild humans, and now people talk about the wild men of Europe and all this other stuff and all this stuff and going to the corn and all that stuff. We're going to get to that corn part in a minute because that's why Michael Jackson was giving you the code in The Wiz. Because like I said, all of this stuff that they did now was foresight, foreshadowing, and acting to let you know we already trying to stop Isaiah 14. We're trying to reverse it because, see, the people don't understand the scripture. Every time that the Most High did something to Lucifer, he want payback. So again, when he destroyed the cities of Cain, I want payback. The Most High said, whatever, it ain't going to happen, dude. So, of course, the payback was they had already got the people ready to go and attack the Most High city. This was on whatever secret bases they had or whatever, Greenland, they call it, all this stuff, to go and attack, and they had it ready to go. And say, all right, now we're going to get our payback, and we're going to help these people that he now put under him and destroy his world and he ain't gonna lose, and we gonna beat him. Most I say, yeah, whatever. It ain't gonna happen. Okay. So when this thing showed up, he already jacked it up. Bam, it fell. Crash. Okay. Then he's sitting there, and the one lady who was with him, she died. Just like they showed you. She passed out. They cracked, the thing didn't work because he knew they were going to try to make a colony of people who could now talk again so that they could go and save the people who were brought into slavery. That was the mission. In their ability to see now that they use, because I said Jacob wants to kill Jacob always for those who were not chosen. So when they got there, it didn't work because first of all, like they showed you, he couldn't speak, and they thought he was one of them because of like that. But as soon as he showed up, they're like, "We know who he is." That's why they said, "Don't listen to him." Then the other guy showed up. That's why he got lobotomized. He started speaking, and they're like, "Whoa, they're not supposed to speak. Why are they speaking?" And that's why they wanted to check him out. Okay, how's he speaking? Because all the rest of them don't speak. Okay, now the ones who were underground, that was the barrier between the Most High's kingdom and Sheol, because that's where they were. That was hell, and they were not allowed to. And then they showed you them X's and them crosses. The forbidden zone was when the Most High was saying we have to stay in a certain environment where we are not worried about the past, and now we only focus on where we are as a kingdom. Okay, now we talk about it, but we don't. That's why when they lied about the guy Al and he went forward because this is part of it too. They couldn't remember anything. What happened to the black people? Oh, we don't know. Okay, all this stuff. Okay, they didn't have names; they had numbers. Okay, but there was a group of people who had to be exactly like what happened to us that they did to us. And that was involving the Canaanites because they were supposed to serve under us and they didn't want to do it. And that's what happened with the switch with Esau. Like I said, we already fixed Esau's curse in our timeline. Okay? So now, what they're trying to do is promote all of this stuff like they keep talking about. Yeah, we beat the Most High, but you don't even know we destroyed his kingdom. We won. We won the war. We got payback. We got the payback we were looking for. Yeah, we beat the Most High. The Most High was like, you didn't do nothing, man. The future, what you saw was what you were meant to see because it didn't happen. They didn't win. Okay, if they would have won, we wouldn't be here. Okay, that's what you got to understand that. If they would have won, then we still wouldn't be here. Then every one of the 12 tribes, the whole world, everything would now be what? Not even knowing none of this stuff about the Most High, okay? You wouldn't even know about nYambe. You wouldn't know any of these things if they would have won the war. But that's the mission right there. But now, oh, they figuring it out. They're going to unite. This is the problem. No, stop it, stop it, stop it. We know what's going to happen. We already seen it was going to go down. Yeah, that's the name. That's the movie they made. That they know they're going to lose again. It was called War of the Planet of the Apes. After Escape from the Planet of the Apes, they made War of the Planet of the Apes because the Most High sent the messengers back. Yeah, make them think that they won. He didn't tell them to lie because they didn't know. Because he don't tell anybody to lie. He just going to say, make them believe that they succeeded in the mission. Because all they knew is that, okay, yeah, they blew us up. Yeah, whatever. We don't know what happened because they really didn't know. So they couldn't lie about it because they didn't know. Okay. But they were interrogated. They were tormented to get the knowledge out of them. And of course, yeah, the one female, she was pregnant and she did something that Toko was very well aware of because he sent for that. He did that. Toko is the one that was involved because he could see, you got to remember, Kimbongo and Toko, they could see the future just like everybody else very well. So he was involved with that. And what he did will shock the whole world about what happened. And when it comes out, I can't help you. Because this is also why they made the mockery with the Lion King. They did all the other things with the bibbity bobbity because Wonder Woman thinks that she succeeded in destroying our future. Guess what? In 2019 and going forward, they found out, no, they did not. We already did it again. The Most High took the world back from the hands of the wicked, just like the last time. The Most High did everything he needed to do. He said, I got them again. They didn't know, they don't get it. But they're not going to admit defeat. He said, I already did it. I did it again. They thought they was going to win, but this time now they don't get any more chances. It's over. It's done. They lost the bet completely and they ain't coming back. Because the 1,000 years that they talking about, it already happened. Man, you don't even know. 1,000 years have ended. Okay? Because the devil was like, no, I ain't going back in my prison like the last time. We already put him in prison. We already took him out. We already did all these things already to him. But he wanted to prove to the Most High that he could never do it, that he could destroy his kingdom again. It's like, nah, you done. Now we got him again. Okay? So that's why the Most High was saying, this scripture right here is about the future and things that have happened, and now we're going to get into the next phase. Ascendancy, the kingdom is coming back again. He's coming to collect the sheep again, and he's going to put an end to them again, just like they coded it. And this time, there isn't going to be any coming back of Alpha and Omega, of Zeus. It's over, done. Now they going in their mind, they thinking it's gonna keep going. It's like, yeah, let them thinking what they want. Game over, checkmate. We're gonna burn the whole with fire again. We're gonna do all this stuff again, and everything is gonna play out just like it's supposed to, because they could not go back and keep doing this. The whole thing with the space bridge and all that stuff is gonna come to an end, because the new heaven and new earth is really coming this time, like it's supposed to. And everything is going to be exactly like he said. The sheep will go where they're supposed to belong to, and they will not be affected anymore. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, a lot of people got caught up because the house Negroes don't ever want Massa house to burn down. That was the whole point. And the Most High was like, why? Y'all, he knew it. He didn't do this because of Esau. He did this because of the house Negroes that were convinced that they were going to win this time, that hated him. He didn't give it, he don't even see them people. Never did. He saw the other people of Jacob that said, oh, we going to win this time, Most High. We going to, because after what happened, when the whole thing was done, they was there. And it's like, no, we going to win this. Okay. And that's when they made the deal. That's why what happened. Okay. Everybody is going to learn the real reason for why you keep having, like I said, deja vu, why you keep having, like, why do I feel like I'm a different person than I was before? Why does everything seem like it doesn't make any sense? What is wrong with these people? How come they can't see certain things? What is going on? It is only obvious that they're in the wrong, that something isn't right. Like the one brother said, I see a hologram. I don't, okay? Yeah. I saw these things. That's why when I had an encounter, many people have been swapped out, and it's funny because they talk about the number 27. And I told people this. When I got to 27, when did I get to 27? I got to 27, I was 21 in 1990. I was 21 in 1995. 27 would have been 6 years later, 2001, right? I would have been 27 in 2001. There you go. That's when they really try to get me to stay out of my permission. I was really working to fight. I was struggling with things. I was learning stuff. My 27th birthday happened the same year when they made the Planet of the Apes mockery, when they released a show called The Lone Gunman that showed 9/11 when they supposedly said it's not true, when it was simulating an attack on the World Trade Center, and 9/11 is supposed to be in the secret society world the day the Most High created Adama in his hands. But there was no September, there was no November, there was none of this stuff. Okay? If you don't think that you're in the world of Metatron and they're still fighting this war between each other, okay, because the Most High said his children got to destroy each other. So every time they keep saying they're going to Amalek, it's like, no, they're going to keep destroying each other. Judgment Day is what? Inevitable. So what they tried to do was to stop it or keep it from coming. And the way they thought they could do it is if you destroy his children before they reach 2000. That's why Prince coded it. 1999. Don't you want to know? Because they already knew what these people tried to do because they mocking them about it. Oh, see, no, y'all ain't never going to get to 2000 again. Oh, no, we going to make sure that never happens. we going to stop it. Don't the scriptures say it will come when it's supposed to? You will never stop it. Nothing will impede it. And it will happen when it's supposed to. If the days have not been shortened, nobody would be saved. Now you're going to see how the Most High said, just like they thought that they can do that, I can do it too. I can put everything back the way it was. I can do everything that needs to be done, and it's over. Because he's tired playing games with him now. And see, that's why the whole warp speed is to not allow the repeat of what already happened, people. It already did. That's what Tata said. The Most High said, I already did it. But the way they thought is that if we can make everybody, you know what, they call it Fruit Loops, or I don't want to say that. If we can turn everybody and make everybody into the whore without them realizing that they the whore, we win this time. That was the name of the game. Mayor. Okay, they coded it right there. I'm going to be mayor. The word mayor is the same thing as the female horse. I don't care if any of them, when the mayors get mad at me. You already saw what just happened with one of them in New York. I already know why he's like that. He knows why he's like that. Man, you got people chipped out here. That's why it's called the chip, because the chip is the bull pucky. Why you think you call it bull chips and horse chips? Okay? Everybody out here is running off of a program that you don't even know about. And if you talk about it, conspiracy. They came up with that whole concept to hide the fact that they already lost. This scripture already happened. So when Tata sent Kimbangu and Toko around this time, and people don't know, it was basically to show people, hey, you need to wake up because you're in a reality that is not true. And they got 100 years to put it back. And what did they try to do this time? Oh, no, we're not putting it back. Oh, no, we're not going to let this happen again. Because we know what already happened. Because like I told you, the Most High got a timeline. He don't go by anybody else's timeline. And on his timeline, everything already happened. But he made them think, oh, we can kick you off your timeline. We can do this, and we're going to win. It's like, fine, go right ahead. You're going to lose. Because on his timeline, everything has already happened. That's why you're going to get people that are going to say these mantras over and over. No, I don't believe that. Yeah, but when they die, that's when they find out the truth. Because they want it to be, now we're going to make it to where everybody will be, depart from me for I never knew you. That was the challenge. Is that a challenge? Or you know I'm smarter than you, Mufasa. Or you better not turn your back on me, Scar. Scar is who all these people are praying to. And he is convinced that he succeeded in destroying the Most High's kingdom because all of Jacob now is praying to him. The Most High's like, no, they're not. But you can think that all you want. Game over. We're going to do it again. It's going to happen again. So get ready. All praises, Zola Quingi Sambalolo in the Wizzy of the Kungutwala. Again, don't worry about these people that don't get it. Because chances are, in the timeline that they were on, they were the same way. On our timeline, they were already the Judas goats. Now they're trying to make the people who weren't the Judas goats to become the Judas goats. And they're trying to do it by force. That's the whole concept. All right. All right. Zola Kringi Samalolo in the Wizzy of the Kutwala. Ingita, I'm gonna put a song on. Like I said, I may lose followers after this video. I may say people do crazy, but this is why they this is why they created the Roman circus. All the entertainment came back. Why do you think that is? All of a sudden, sports, everything happened right around the same time, the 1800s. All of a sudden, indigenous people got erased. All this stuff started to go down. Knowledge started to be what? Deleted. People didn't know okay, why we got contradictions in the Bible? Why we got this? Why we got that? Don't ask questions. Just, hey, children are meant to be heard, not seen. That was all part of the notion that said, out of the mouth of babes, no, shut those lambs up. If they give it away, they're gonna give it away. And that's why now you got these pastors out here when people show up, oh no, they psychotic. They don't know what they're talking about. And then they try to force them to come to our side. And that's why they got the man who even said that they got 25 groups because the X-Men think they won their X-Men think that they got it made and that they fixed it and that the Johnson & Johnson thing worked. And of course, the Nixon thing came along after that. You don't even want to know what Tricky Dick did. Oh, you don't want to know about why they call him Tricky Dick. The whole story behind that. And then how Ford got into the mix to pardon him later on after certain things that were discovered. And the real reason why they went after Kennedy. And all this thing about Castro and all that, man, it's all smoke and mirrors. That's what they call it. We need to give them smoke and mirrors. And the smoke and mirrors goes all the way back for 800 years. And the smoke and mirrors went again in the 1800s. You're going to find this out. All right. All praises. Let me get the song going. I don't own the rights to the song. Kim Hallelujah. Like I said, this is going to be the video. And this is why I said I'm pretty much done now. They said it's over. I did my part. I guess like I told in my video and my post, I didn't have to dress and drag and do the hula. Okay? Because I was meant to be the sheep that was the distraction. Now he's here. He's about to do some work. I don't know when he's gonna be it. You're gonna hear about it now. Why you think all of a sudden you hear all of these politicians saying, even the vice president, even the deputy director, everybody is leaving in January. Does anybody remember that knows the story about what Toko did? I told you he was back. The real Toko. I ain't talking about whoever this guy is, the clone. Okay, I'm talking about the real Kim Bongo, not this other guy. What happened in January 1959 that they covered up? You think you really want to keep believing this garbage about 3 Mile Atlas? Whatever. No. We brought the kingdom back again for those that made it think it couldn't come back when it was already here. He said it's here, it's all around you. Now you're going to see it for real because it was already here. The Most High won the war. The kingdom has been here. They thought that they could destroy it. They didn't destroy it. It's already sitting in front of your face. And now the kingdom's going to do what it's supposed to do. We got it back. It was always here. Now the kingdom of David will come like it's supposed to. And everybody going to find out, yeah, you're going to be with the sorcerer and all his lies and stuff, the naughty and nice list. This is how far they went to try to destroy every wheat that was already chosen from the face of the earth. When he said, in second Ezra, he said, let all them perish that were born to die, but let my children who I worked so hard to protect, let them be protected forever. Now you're going to see the difference. And what I was here to do was to get the people to understand you want to join, it's better to be, I'm telling you, a place than the lake of fire. Because that's where we're at now. Because I'm telling people, they thought that they could make the wheat tares and make everybody tares. And that was the challenge that they made. The Most High said, we will make everybody tares and we will destroy your kingdom. And we're going to say, okay, keep doing it. You're never going to destroy the planet of the apes. Because that's not no evolution monkey, my whew. Why you think they're running around with armor on, even in the new version? Put on the full armor of the Most High, people. Yeah, they're tricking people with that. That's why them apes was wearing the armor and everything, because those are the Maliki Congo, people. Those are the angels on them horsebacks. They tricked you. Those were the angels on the horseback that they know that they was like, yeah, General Thade. Oh, yeah, you tricked us. No, that was the whole concept, that they try to make it look like they fooled everybody when they tried to make the man come forward to our timeline and show the people, hey, you guys need to wake up and don't be the slave to these monkeys out here, because they weaker than us. They always were. That's what they was trying to prove. Because that's what they always think they are. We gonna destroy Amalek and we ain't never gonna die. We ain't never gonna lose. Because that's how they are, people. And the Most High said, now I am going to humiliate them like they have never been humiliated, because it didn't work. All praises. All right. Yeah, that's why they're watching everybody. That's why they're doing what they're doing. That's why they've been scoping out. That's why they keep making all these things. They don't understand, okay? In the original timeline, you're going to find out that Hitler was black. So were the Russians. Many people were black. Why do you think all of a sudden now they got all this history about the whole thing that they think? Again, I don't own the rights to this. Okay. Hold on, call them back. Let's go. All right. I told people, man, a lot of people been swapped out. I ain't gonna tell them about what happened in 1974 too much, because then I know I'll lose everybody. But that incident that happened when they came back, there's a connection you're gonna find out about, that Toka was involved with that. They didn't go out there dressing out, and that was Hollywood magic. Them people never, those people who came back never left anywhere. They got wind of the story for Hollywood to make it, and they had to turn it into a show. So yeah, you think that some apes came back and half understood it, the time machine, because they always said we just stupid talking monkeys. We ain't smart like them. They said that's because the people who think they know everything, they think we're stupid. They always said that. And that was meant to be a mockery of the Banabeta of Isolde, who came back with their machine, knowing that we can do everything that they can do better than them, and they didn't think we could, and telling them, okay, well, this is what happened. Y'all showed up. I don't know what happened, but we know the war took place. But that was designed for Toko to reset some things with something that he did from there. And that'll come out soon. I know what he did in 1974 and around that time frame. All right. You think these people, you can trust them? You'll be my guest. They ruined 120, 40 years of people's lives, but they still didn't work. You're gonna find out. You went through hell for nothing. because they wasn't going to win anyway. Because like I told you, the house Negro, he insisted that we're going to win the war against the Most High and keep the massive house from getting on fire. So then after the Most High did it, they worked with the people to go back and fix it. And that's why they knew it. Jacob got to destroy Jacob himself. It can't be nobody else. And they know that. And you're going to see what these house Negroes did that's connected to the Planet of the Apes. And they know it. That's why they're keeping everybody shut up on it. They took the biggest and brightest minds and the smartest of us and came up with a plan. You think they came up with this stuff on their own? They got the forbidden knowledge, but who got the real knowledge? You keep believing that Nikola Tesla mess. He wasn't the brains of the operation. The sellout was. And all the other stuff that they did. Oh, you smart, Toby. Toby is actually short for Tobit. Aha! That's the scripture that coded it. Because they know Tobit is about how they came up with a plan to outsmart the demon that was killing everybody. That's why all of a sudden the catfish became eat the catfish. Oh, eat the pig. Eat this. Eat. No, man. We didn't do that before. Watch. Oh, eat this here. Eat this cow. Eat. Yeah. Boobity. What? Okay. Like I said, Malcolm wasn't joking when he said, "We sick, boss. We sick. Your house on fire. We house on fire, boss. We what? Watch. They paid all them people so much money in the bribery to hide what was already happening. There's a timeline you're going to find out the truth about Lincoln. There's a timeline you're going to find out the truth about all this stuff and Kennedy because they know what happened in 1865. What that paper said. That's the end of the corporation if you let these people leave. It happened the first time, couple of times. We found ways around it. Then they got crafty with it. Crafty counsel. How we gonna stop them? Oh yeah, so you got to get them to break the law, statutes, and commandments after they already done found the Most High. So we gonna be what? Spies. The spy agenda kicked in the reset, people. They spied and they got everybody to kind of convince you, and they did the magic tricks and we like y'all again. And this time they thought they got it, and it didn't work. All praises, Zolakwingi Sambalolo Inawezi Yabe Kongo Kutwala. Again, you take it for what it is. If you think I'm lying to you, that's your business. If you think I'm not lying to you, I know what happened in 1974. I can't explain it. Toko knows what he did. Kimbangu knows what they did. If you think Kimbangu died in prison in 19-something, good luck. If you think Toko really died in 1984, he knows the timeline and what really happened. I already told people, the Messiah isn't stupid, yo. All these people arguing about Sunday worship, Saturday worship, all this other stuff that's going on, you're going to discover that's all part of the act. Oh, Africa versus America. Oh, this and that. Science says this happened, this happened, this happened. No. It goes back to what took place after Kemper was killed. And they know it. And then what took place after 1865. The Most High always keeps his promises to his people. His people are the one that break the promises. Remember that. The Most High keeps his promises to his people. His people are the ones that always break the promise. And if you think Esau is his people, that's your choice. I don't give a doggone what people want to believe. I'm not you can believe in whatever, Islam, Judaism, Christianity. I don't care. That's your choice. But what you going to find out? All of this stuff that you've been knowing for the last 2,000 years is a hoax. It's fabricated, it's manufactured. They did a whole lot of window dressing, hocus pocus, smoke and mirrors to bring you the greatest show on earth and the greatest story ever told. Because I'm telling you, the way the Messiah was born, the way all that stuff happened with his disciples, all that stuff that they did is totally different than what they're telling you. They're bringing some stuff out now on some Netflix and stuff, but they're still going to give you the images that did not exist. So the magician, now the magic show is coming to an end, and reality is going to hit, because when he is gone, you're going to see how it really goes and how it doesn't. And that's why so many people are going to be upset, because they did not get the opportunity to revert from being the tare back to the wheat like they should have been. The salvation comes through the Bayudayo, okay? But they're going to find out you was a tare and you never stopped, and they got your hopes up that you're going to become a wheat. No, you was never a wheat. You was always a tare. And then they try to make it to where you wheat, you're going to become tare. You think that they try to make it to where, oh, you wheat, this and this and that, okay? They try to fool all the wheats. It didn't happen. Watch. This is how far it went. Engeta, hallelujah. Bayeten Kosi, Salama. Yengi Izola Ibiluka.